Welcome to Life, Life, Etc., a show that covers all aspects of life, relationships, and success. And I'm your host, Anna Elton. And here we are with Jessica Palomino. Thank you, Jessica, for joining us. She's amazing. She's my dear friend, and she came here to share about her life.
Hi, Anna. Well, thank you so much for having me. I can wait to have this chat with you, especially with everything that you cover on your show. It's excited to be here and open up and have a great conversation.
So, but before we start diving into your story, let's start with some light stuff. Okay. Let's see. So, if you think back on your childhood, is there something that you anticipated and something that you would be surprised to see right now in your life?
Wow. Yes. I was born in Lima, Peru. So just the fact that I'm in America, in United States, and having a career and a marriage, and I speak another language is something that I would never, thought about it when I was a kid. I never thought about much of, having a life somewhere else. So I would be really surprised if I was me back then. So it's kind of fun. I mean, I had a lot of different adventures in my life, and definitely that wasn't in the plans when I was younger.
So, what do you think was your biggest and funnest adventure so far?
Oh my God. I had so many. I mean, I lived in Lima, like I said, and then I moved to Washington, D.C. when I was 17, 18. And just being in a different country and learning a different language and, getting to know people. And I was so thirsty to learn the language because I thought everybody was talking about me. So I wanted to know what they were saying. That was the first thing. But after 10 years, I moved to California, to San Francisco area. So I had a different adventures there with jobs, school, family. And then 10 years later, I moved back to DC and I found it completely different and super young and a lot of friends that I haven't seen in a while. I, kind of like reunited and I have different adventures with work, with careers, with new beginnings.
So, I know you for a few years, right? And when you sent me your bio, I was really surprised to learn about some things, right? I never knew that you were a journalist, right? You met presidents, right? You almost got married to a prince.
Yes,
Can
yes.
you tell us about
A
your
little bit about that. Yeah, sure. I mean, when I came to Washington, I got involved with the Peruvian community. So that opened a lot of doors for me with the Spanish community in general. So I used to help writing articles in Spanish for the community in a newspaper, and that little by little start, like getting more interesting. And then I got a proposal to not to marriage, but to do a show on live TV. It was in Spanish as well, and it was live, just like this.
okay?
And it was a lot of fun. And I did it for a couple of years. And, there was no script sometimes, so you have to come up with things. And it was nerve wracking, but it was a lot of fun. And it was different. I can't believe it. Actually, I did that, kind of thing. It's like you never think what the opportunities can open up for you. So with that job, I got to go to the White House and to be in different scenarios and interviews, not direct one to one, but I was in the same room, with very interesting politicians and in life in Washington. This is what normal it is. I mean, Washington is a small city, and you get to meet very interesting people.
So far to this day, is there someone that stands out? Like, is there like one story that you heard and you're like, wow, this is really impressive?
Um, the last name it was Manchu. She actually was a Nobel Prize winner for peace, and she was very interesting how she helped her community and how she overcame so much, you know, politicians that were against her to try to save the area that she lived and help with their human rights. So that was impressive because it's somebody that you would never, you know, guess that they worked so hard and had a voice and people listen. So that was very impressive. Um, so yeah, that was the one. But I yeah, I met wonderful people. I mean, I when I used to work in health area, I work. Well, I met a lot of people that work in different embassies. In They were a lot of them were writers. They were um, journalists, and not that I had the time to have a huge conversations with them when they're like in a, you know, in a medical setting, but it was interesting, and we had, you know, sometimes that we can exchange some stories. And DC, like I said before, I love it. I mean, it's a place where you can meet very interesting people, and you just have to listen.
And DC is the place where you met your husband.
That's exactly what I met my husband, and I met the prince as well.
Oh my
So
goodness,
the
that
story
is
of the
what to
prince,
start with, right?
I know
To start with.
he's he's my prince now. But it was kind of funny because you mentioned that earlier, and I didn't want people to you know to not to get that part of the story. I you know, I was younger. I was doing the reporting, and I think I was in Nordstrom, just, you know, buying something, walking around, and this guy came up to me and started, you know, smiling, and I was like, "Why are you smiling at me?" And then he kept talking to me, and somehow he gave me his card. I was, you know, I was young, I was dating, so I was like, he looked cute, so he gave me his card, and he said that he worked in the Saudi embassy. And I said, oh, okay, you know, he works there. And then he asked me out. He gave me a call, and then we went out. He took me to a very nice restaurant, and somehow some people came with him, and they were the details. And I said, who are they? It's like, oh, they're taking care of me. And I said, what do you mean taking care of you? I mean, you drove here, like what? And then he said, well, I said to him, you work in the embassy, so why you have people? And they say, well, I work there, but I'm, you know, I'm one of the family of the prince, you know, like all the royalty in Saudi. And I couldn't believe it. But the second date, it was kind of funny because we went out and he asked me, was it second or third date? I think the third day he asked me if I wanted to marry him out of the blue. And I just looked at him and I said, I'm sorry, what? And then he said to me, um, he actually was giving me the conditions. He said, well, yeah, I mean, I would like to marry you, but I just want to let you know that you will be my third wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to live here, you're going to do this, and you're going to do that. And I look at him and I was laughing inside, like, I didn't know you were married to begin with, right? And then we just met, and then you know, it was just there, you know, like I couldn't obviously say yes. I didn't know this guy, you know, so I knew where his head was going, so we kind of stopped dating. But the funny thing is that when I told my mom about it, um, she said, but Jessica, the kids, you know, if you had kids, I was going to be the grandmother of the little princes and princes. And
That's what she was worried about, right?
he was worried about that, not me. I'm like, Mom, what if I marry the guy and then he take me away and, you know, like he kidnap me or something? It's like, but I was going to be the grandmother. So that was really funny. So yeah, that's the story of the prince that we were talking about.
So did you
And
envision
then,
yourself to be a princess list for a few moments?
oh God, no, you know, the first thing I thought when he asked me to marry him, Even though I was like, I think I was 23 or something like that. I was young and probably broke. So it wouldn't be like amazing, right? But the first thing I thought it was being in a golden cage. Somehow that's the first thought that I had in my mind. Like, I mean, to begin with, he was married, right? So it's not like my culture, but that's the first thing I thought. But it's a fun story to tell people. And then I did met my husband here in DC, like you were saying. Yes,
So I guess let's talk about how you met your husband. I know it's an amazing story, right?
it is amazing, and it's common but amazing at the same time because I met him online.
Mm-hmm.
We met on OkCupid, and it was a time in my life where I was dating for a while, stop dating, start dating again, stop dating. Like I was kind of disappointed what was out there. Um, and then I realized that it wasn't about the people that I was meeting, but it was about me. It was about me because I wanted to know exactly what I wanted and stop making excuses for other people or for myself. Like if you are yourself and you know what you want in life, or in a person that is going to be important in your life, you have to start knowing what you don't want. And I had that kind of straight at that point when I met Chad. um, I wanted to be myself, and I wanted people to accept me for who I am. As everybody, I'm guessing we all want that. But sometimes the nerves, meeting somebody, you want to put the face, your best self out there. Um, but I thought about it. It was interesting because it was kind of like a look inside.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we met, I didn't want to have excuses for somebody that didn't understand me, especially my jokes. I think I'm funny. And that's the best compliment that people can give me if they tell me that I'm funny.
So how about
So
your husband?
I'm sorry.
How about your husband? Does he think that you're funny?
He thinks that I'm funny. He laughed a lot at the beginning, but now he knows me so well that he knows what I'm gonna say. But for other people, when we meet other people and they don't expect me to say something, he already got it. But yeah, I'm coming up with new jokes so he doesn't get bored.
I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Yes, I have to come up with something. But yeah, sometimes I do say stuff that he just bursts into laughter, and that's the best sound that I can hear. I love that so much. So yeah, so when we met, I was already in that place where I already knew what I wanted. And 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 then we met, and then we started talking, and it was a great connection that we had. It was like a dance.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't interrupted by anything. So it was something that happened after we met and we had a great date. And what happened is that later on, I kind of picture myself with this person, and didn't matter if I was married to him or not. Like I wanted to spend time with him. The time didn't matter. Short time, long time, forever, one day, 1 hour. I mean, I wanted to spend time with this person. And my goal wasn't necessarily to have a time frame,
Mm-hmm.
but just to spend time with him. So that's when it was the first time that I felt that with somebody. So that kind of told me a lot. And then 6 months later, no, actually 4 months later, he asked me to marry him.
So you
So,
have this thing on guys, right? Like they meet you and then they ask you for marriage. Okay.
well,
Maybe you can
that
share some secrets with our viewers, right? What they should do.
that is really funny. I don't have, there wasn't anything too much to it. I mean, first the prince one, it was something that just happened, and I don't know why.
Mhm.
And I was engaged a couple other times, but I was young, and I just say yes, and I didn't do anything really. I mean, I just, I'm myself, and um, I just think I think that I have a good personality. I'm very, I can take a joke. I can adjust to people. I have good feelings, and I think I'm a good person. We'll have to ask Chad again. But yeah,
So we need to bring your husband on the show, right? And just see
next we
what
should have
works.
a show with both of us. That will be really funny too.
So when you met your husband, so what stood out for you?
Kindness. He is the kindest person I know. He would do anything for anybody that he meets, people that he doesn't even know. If he listens to a story of somebody, he's like, I'm here. What can I do? How can we help? He's, I mean, next to him, I'm bad. He's so kind and so nice, and he have the biggest heart with his own family and with, people that he doesn't know. Like, you have that thing sometimes with your your brothers or your sisters, a little rivalry, or you just fight a little bit. They don't have any of that. None of that. I was so shocked. I'm like, but your brother said this or that. It's like, yeah, no, I love my brother, and I'm like, I know you do, but yes,
He
they're
avoids conflicts. Okay.
they're so sweet. I mean, yeah, the whole family is fantastic, and he's the kindness. That's what stood out completely. The kindness, um, how supportive he is, because I couldn't do, I think, real estate, this what I do right now, without him. He's been, I call him my intern
Mhm.
slash husband. So, but he's being amazing. I love what I do, and he's extremely supportive, because I was having a different career, and then I decided to jump into real estate, and he helped me in every step of the way until today. So yeah, he's fantastic. I'm very lucky.
So let me switch gears a bit, right?
Sure.
So let's talk about dating, right? So you were online, you were looking for the love of your life, which you found, right? But I'm sure you met a lot of people prior to your husband, right? So what are some of the red flags? Someone's watching. What are some of the things, other women should avoid?
I can tell you, one thing that I remember, because it's been 10 years, over 10 years. um, I remember looking at their profile,
Hmm.
and then I think it was Match. I don't remember which one that I used, because I used different ones. But if you go all the way in the bottom, it says the age, um, range that they're looking for in a woman. And when it says 18 to 99, that's a red flag right there. So I remember looking at that. It's like, no way. So you want to see that they actually have, been thinking about it, and have, they've been thoughtful of putting a profile out there before you accept or wink or do whatever you do now. I'm not sure to try to talk to that person. Um, that was a huge red flag for me. And then the way they talk to you, if in my case, if they were, funny and clever when they write to you, I like that. I thought that was, being smart.
And
um
put in some effort, right? Not just generic response.
yes, exactly. Put some effort. You know it depends of who, the person that is reading it, and how, what they like. In my case, I liked somebody that was funny, witty, something to say, even if it was short.
Hmm.
But it's something that you will have that intuitive, sensation or feeling when you're reading something. um and then when you meet the person, the person is actually try to, listen to what you're saying. It's engaging. Red flags will be if somebody's looking at their phone all the time, or looking another girl walking next to you, I will,
That's
like,
a huge red flag.
it was huge. So, and then, like in my case, I like to make people laugh, and I want them to understand what I'm trying to say. So if I have, uh, you know, somebody that is not getting it at all, and then you're trying to make excuses, oh, the poor guy, maybe he was tired, he didn't understood what I was trying to say. No, it's pretty much he doesn't understand, he doesn't get you, so just move on. I mean, that's what I think. But yeah, I those were the big, red flags that I had.
So when you were, meeting people, when you were meeting guys, were there like any tests that they had to pass? For example, I don't know, I'll give you one test, right? So
Yes.
you go on a date and then you would just want to make sure that guy is generous, right? You don't want someone like with alligator hands, right? So you order the like most expensive dish on the menu and then don't eat it and see what happens.
If I had a test like that, no. I would not. I'm so not like that at all. I just feel bad.
I was just hoping that he passed some tests.
Oh, yes. I mean, for me, the test at the end, like when I figured out a little bit of myself, it was somebody that, you feel a connection, and the test that I have done is like maybe, joking around and see if they react.
If he
And
stayed
if they
from,
didn't react, I was like, next, no way. This is who I am. That's my personality. So if I don't gonna have anything back when I'm throwing something at them, even flirting. Are you flirting back with me or not? Like if you're not flirting back, bye.
so Chad, your husband, he loves to joke, right? Is there like a best joke, the signature joke that he has?
Oh my God. You know what? That's a great question. I have no idea. I mean, he is funny, but I tell him, I joke with him about this because I said, you have to find your public, your people,
So his
because
audience, right? He needs his audience.
he had to find his audience, and he doesn't care. And that's what I love about him. He's like, I don't care if somebody doesn't get it. I'm laughing. So I like that attitude, but sometimes I have to explain this to other people or translate the jokes that don't make any sense for them, try to make it funny. So I have to like think about it. Like one time he posted something on Facebook, I think something about me being, he called it, she's the shit. She's amazing, that's what he means. But I had to translate that in Spanish.
So your family, right, and friends.
So my family, everybody's calling me, telling me what happened, what do you do, why he's calling you that, like that is bad, like so it was kind of like some things are missing in translation. Definitely in this case, but yeah, no, he's really, I mean, he's funny. um he's quick as well, and he'll come up with very, sometimes dry sense of humor, but people that get it.
I love that. So you mentioned that he's your intern, right? He's helping you with real estate.
Yes, he
So
is.
how is that relationship? Is it always working or sometimes it can be frustrating? Like that's, partner work relationship.
Yes, I mean, he helps me with so many things, and the balance with that, it's great because he understands when I'm busy and having a hard time with some different cases, and he knows that I put my heart and soul into helping people, trying to close deals, trying to make my clients, be happy. And the best, reference I get is from my clients. I mean, they're great, and they're happy with the work that I do. So I really put myself in their shoes,
Hmm.
and I really, if they're worried or concerned, I feel worried and concerned. And even though I shouldn't, because I know things are going to be okay, but I try to calm them down. And so I give a lot of myself to my clients. And um, you know, in different ways, you know, trying to calm them down, give them advice. And Chad knows that sometimes when I do that, I kind of feel like, oof, like I have a heavy weight on me. So he knows when to approach something when I'm going through something like that. Or he always tried to, you know, he asked me how he can help me,
Hmm.
you know, in any way. And sometimes I just need space to calm down, to relax, to center myself, and then keep going. And then his work is huge too. I mean, he works a lot of hours. So I understand when he's doing something, so I don't interrupt. I try to figure it out myself. But when I need him is normally the weekends, because you know I do a lot of open house.
Hmm.
So he comes and help me, and he's part of the decor in the house, helping me out, putting the signs on the roads, and you know, like if he needs to print stuff out for me, or just little things. And they're little things, but they're huge because it helps me with the flow
Hmm.
of the clients coming and talking to them. And he knows so much about the area, and you know, he give them, you know, kind of reference of the neighborhoods and stuff like that. So it's fun. That's something that we do on the weekends. I mean, unfortunately it's work, but that's where my job is, on the more likely on the weekends, when I go and take clients, you know, and stuff like that. So it is nice to have him, that's for sure.
So it's always this delicate dance, right, of supporting each other, really trying to figure out each other's emotions, right?
It's
To assume that your partner is upset at you, right? But then like really like be curious, like, hey, what's going on? Offer help, right?
it is important to check, and it's important when you are going through something that is stressful. I think it's very well, I know it's very important to say that
Mm-hmm.
to the other person, because we're, you know, we live together, so he's next to me or close to me. And if I'm having a hard time, I want to tell him that it's not him that I'm upset with, but it's something that I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And to just, you know, to chill for a little bit, and then you know, regroup again. But it's important for your husband, your partner, you know, to know that you are going through something that is not necessarily them, because I read people really well.
Mm-hmm.
And the face, it's, oh my god, you know, like for, you know, for my husband, for, you know, my clients, for my patients, whatever work I did in the past, I can read people really well. It's because, you know, you listen, I absorb stuff, I understand what's happening. So it's important to let them know, you know, that you're not, your face is not saying that I'm upset with you, but that I'm going through something. And as soon as he tells me that, or I tell him that, things change, and I understand, and I leave him alone, you know. So that's kind of like a good dance, like you were saying.
Mm-hmm. So I know you had to go through a really difficult time in your life, right?
Yes.
And it was recent, right? And your husband was there, supportive. You want to share your story?
Yes, absolutely, I will. I got a diagnosis of breast cancer in, I think it was January last year. I stopped having the mammograms for about 3 years, and I can blame, you know, the COVID times and all that, but actually, you know, you have to push yourself and do it. So if somebody's listening to this, I know a lot of people are, but check yourself. It's so important. So I stopped doing it for 3 years. So after that, I went and had one, and they found some kind of calcium in one area of the mammogram, and we didn't know if it was cancer or not. So the first 3 weeks of that news, it's the hardest because after that they did a biopsy.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to wait 3 weeks to see what kind of cancer, how big, how small, what stage. Those 3 weeks were really tough because we didn't know. I didn't want to tell anybody about it at that time because I wanted to know first,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to see what can I do first, by be told by the doctor. So the first thing that I thought as soon as I heard the word of cancer, it was okay. It was weird. I still feel weird about it because it was not despair, but it was okay. This is what I have. What we have to do,
Mm-hmm.
and I, I, I don't know. In my case, I feel like being an immigrant and coming to a different country and have to go through so many different things, good and bad. You learn how to push yourself and get out there and do something. So I think that's why the reaction is like, okay, now I have cancer. Let's see what we're gonna do. So I didn't feel down. There were times that I was a little down, but I thought that so many people go through so many things worse than I did. I always go there, like, I have insurance, I have support, I have a wonderful family, my husband loved me, like what else can I ask for in a case like that? So I was very happy to have that support.
So a lot of
Um,
gratitude, right? You experience and you practice a
Completely.
lot of gratitude.
And it's so important to have gratitude. Like I said, there's people that go through so many things, and being in this country and have the best care, it's something that happens. And I was very lucky, to be able to be here and to have what I have, the support of people helping me through it. So yeah, so when they told me later there was a stage 2, and it was a cancer that was it happened, a hormonal type.
Mm-hmm.
And so it wasn't directly from my family, but it was just something that I had in my system. So they they decided, they asked me if I wanted to have a mastectomy in the breast that I had it. And actually I said no, I just want both of them. I can't have it any other way. I can, I want to be able to sleep at night and I think that I'm going to have it in the other one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just have a whole mastectomy. And it was interesting because like I already, like if I had everything planned, it was a lot better for me to go through the process
Mm-hmm.
without stopping and thinking about it too much. So I never had the time to think about it
Mm-hmm.
much. But when I have chemo, because I had chemo as well, um, one of the things that Chad, he keeps telling people about it, and I didn't thought it was that funny, but he thought it was funny. I actually, we have a calendar in the fridge with all the stuff that we do, and the first date of the chemo, I actually wrote, um, I didn't wrote chemo. I said that girl is poisoned, like the song from the 90s. So my head was just like making jokes and fun of things that I was going through, because that's how my brain works, and it helps me not to have other emotions that I didn't need. I
So it's
needed
a
that.
protective mechanism, right?
Exactly. It was great. It was, I mean, I like the fact that I make him laugh,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was interesting. But yeah, I had like 6 rounds of chemo, and then I had 11 rounds of HP. That is a medication that tries to kill the hormone that is giving you the trouble, and then make you stronger as well. So I finished that not that long ago. A month ago, I had my reconstruction, my final one. So I'm still processing a lot of this, which is interesting because I thought, okay, I'm done, I'm back, it's me. But so many things have changed, after the surgeries, and emotionally, you had the time to think now that I didn't have before. Before I had the time to not think about it because I had a plan. I
So
had
you were
this
in it,
appointment
right? So you were just focused on.
completely,
Mhm.
completely. So now it's like, oh, wow. What happened to me, like, and then you get some side effects that are not terrible, but you feel a little tired, you're not, like your muscles hurts a little bit. I have to take some medications for 5 years that does a lot of that, but it's nothing, again, nothing compared to other people. So I can do it. I'm okay. So I feel like I'm coming back just now. Like I feel like I'm, in the groove, getting back to my clients, checking the market, doing open houses, which I love. I love the contact, the connection with people. And every case and every clients is a different world, and different things happen, and it's like going up and down and emotions and things. So I feel like I'm getting back.
So think of like circle of control, right? You can only control yourself. You can't control other people. You can't control other circumstances, right? You can't control weather, traffic, illness, past, present, right? So,
Exactly.
it happened, right? That's it. There's
Yeah.
nothing you can do about it. So at that point, you can only focus on yourself. And what you're able to control is how you respond to it, right?
Right.
They and you feel bad for yourself, or you smile and face it with humor, right? And just enjoy your life as much as you can, even if.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, I do have at this moment another friend of mine that she's going through cancer, but it's a lot more lethal, and she is not good. But the peace that she found herself in, and the time that she have left, has, like, moved all the circle of people around her, because she understands what's happening, she's in peace with it, she cannot control it. So she decided to live her life the way she wants it. And I'm really proud of her. And yeah, it is so true. You cannot control it. You have to think of good stuff, or being yourself, what makes you happy.
Mhm.
And then and then you and then the decision is easy once you have that in front of you.
So, from your experiences, right? What do you think the biggest lesson, biggest takeaway for you? What did you learn?
um my experiences, well, I have so many. But one thing that I can say is that I believe that we all have power.
Hmm.
We all have the power to make the right decisions,
Hmm.
whatever right decision is. It doesn't have to be good, but it's not supposed to be bad either. But the decisions is going to make you happy. We all have that little voice inside us, like, that we try to avoid,
Hmm.
even in dating, in jobs, in life, in love, in everything. That little voice that tells you exactly when you're in doubt, like, what is it? It's telling me something. It's okay. You can jump. You can do it. Don't do it. This is not a good idea. You're better than that, or you know, you're love here, or that little voice that tells you things, like, have confidence, or little stupid little things that you don't listen to, but it's there because it's in the background.
Hmm.
If you actually try to listen to that, try to focus, forgive yourself,
Hmm.
try to listen to yourself. Nobody's perfect. We're going to all make mistakes, and those mistakes are going to help us. But that little voice, it's your inner you. It's like a little help that we get when we're in doubt about something. Just listen to it. Have a plan A and B. I always have that. Like, let me try this, but if that doesn't work, let me have this other thing just in case. But I have this emotion, that's this feeling, this voice. I'm gonna listen to it and I'm gonna try to follow, and life will be a lot easier. Like when you have that feeling, you meet somebody, for example, if it's a client that is very difficult, that there's going to be trouble later on in your life, that something is not right, just don't take that client, or don't go to that place that you don't feel safe. You just listen to it, and I think that will be my advice for people. About in my life, I have listened to that many times, and I'm here.
So you have a good intuition, right? So that voice is the intuition that you have, right?
Yes.
But I definitely have, I met people, I met clients where like their voice is telling them like, oh, like maybe I should this. Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, no, 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 maybe this. Like when you have like a lot of anxiety and like you're so unsure and you don't know like which voice to listen, because sometimes I feel like our voice can tell us a lot of positive things, right? You can say like, hey, just keep doing it. Like you're doing a great job. Who is awesome? I'm awesome. But sometimes we have this negative voice that's saying like you're not good enough. You will not succeed, right?
Yes,
So, and then you need to
absolutely.
pick which one you want to
You
follow.
want to listen to, well, to listen to that voice is not just listening to anything that comes and pops in your mind, but you have to be on a mindset,
Hmm.
that you're actually more calm, more relaxed, and you're thoughtful about the process that you're going to go through. And that little thing in your stomach, more than anything, is like what it tells you to do something. But of course, there's a lot of people that have that negative uh, kind of message in their heads, and you cannot control everything. That's what I would say to them. You cannot control things.
Hmm.
You have the present,
Hmm.
the past, and the future. We don't have any control. What happened before, you cannot redo it. What's going to happen tomorrow, we don't know,
Hmm.
because we don't know what something is going to happen. So I think focusing on the now, and do the best you can, and forgive yourself. Be you as much as you can. There's so much out there, and the competition and the friends and this and the noise that happen. None of that is going to give you where you want, because you live your own life and you make the best that you can in your own life with the best decisions that you can
Yeah.
have you know
So you need to give yourself grace, right? Nobody's
yes,
perfect, and gratitude for what you have,
yes,
right? And
absolutely.
then when we look at the past, we can't change the past. We
You
can only
cannot.
learn from your past, right? So think of like if I'm ever in a similar situation, if I'm ever feel triggered by this person or a place, what can I do differently, right? That's coping ahead of time.
Yes, and then every mistake, it's not a mistake, or it's not a waste of time either. So don't think that because you did something that didn't work out, it's going to be bad. You learn something
It adds to your
from it
experience, right?
completely, and it helps you. I mean, you add those are little pearls. Those things happen, and you just get up again and do it again, and now you know better.
It's like Thomas Edison said when he was inventing the light bulb. He said, I did not fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways it didn't work, right?
That's
So
exactly
every time
correct.
brought him closer to success. So that's
that
what we need
is
to do, right? Just keep trying. Just
that
keep
is
swimming.
that is so right. I mean, what else? What's the other option?
Yep.
Sit there and cry? No, just get up, cry if you have to cry, and get it over with, and then keep going. It's important to do that in your life, to kind of keep going. I mean, it is important to have that moment of regret, or the sadness, or you're upset about something. Have it, leave it, let it out, and then come back.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing your beautiful story. Can you let our viewers know where they can find you if they want to get in touch with you, if they want to use your service as a realtor?
Yes, well, thank you for that opportunity. My email it's homes@jessicapalomino.com, and they can go to jessicapalomino.com. I am a realtor in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. I will give everything for my clients. I'll do anything. I will show places on the storm, and I will do anything for them. We have a wonderful group, Cosmo Group, in our agency, and they are fantastic. Everybody's willing to work hard, and we are like one stop shop kind of thing. So if somebody wants to buy or sell, we give them everything that they need. They don't have to outsource anybody. They can get, appraisers, movers, stagers, decorator. I will go there and clean your house if I have to. I have a few times. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah. All this dedication, all
yes,
the clients.
yes, and yeah. So they can find me there. My phone number is 202-930-5377, and I'll be more than happy to help you out just for a talk, even
Perfect.
anything.
So some free services, counseling services, right?
It
Therapy.
comes with it. Trust me.
Awesome. So thank you for being here with us. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thank you and bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.